and welcome to today's conversation on one of the most exciting yet often misunderstood topics, generative AI upskilling. While Gen AI is transforming industries, many organizations are still figuring out how to embrace it effectively. From concerns about security to myths around its impact on jobs, there's a lot to unpack. To break it all down, I'm joined by Krishnan Unni, Chief Business Officer at Tekstac, a 360-degree skilling platform.
Okay,
Welcome,
go ahead,
Unni, and
Mamta.
thank you for taking the time to join us today. It's a pleasure to connect with you.
Thank you very much, Mamta. Thanks for this opportunity. Looking forward to
You know,
having a good conversation. Yeah.
So let's start by asking you, this entire excitement about Gen AI, how do you think organizations are perceiving it? Is there an opportunity that they see, or there are challenges, or there's something that holds them in between?
I think very interesting question to start with. I think when GenAI came around 2 to 3 years back, the first thing it created was like a lot of confusion, not only excitement, but plenty of confusion because people really did not know what to do with it. What's happened over the last, I think, 18 to 24 months is, people have started, organizations have started to understand the value. It still needs to be seen how effectively it can be used across multiple use cases, but there is a clear vindication that it is here to stay and it will impact roles, it will enhance productivity, and it is going to be a part of our daily life. Now, with respect to organizations, we see organizations really trying to, use Gen AI tools, Gen AI solutions to improve productivity is one of the key focus when we talk to a lot of prospects and customers. The first question we get is, how can, Gen AI help us to deliver better? Can it cut down developers' time in terms of developing a software? Can it cut down testers' time? How can an architect use? Those are the questions. And you can see there are tools which are now beginning. A lot of Gen AI assistant tools are coming in where a developer can go ahead and use that as his partner in, while, coding and get a perspective from the tool and really help, deliver his piece of work, say, in 60% of the time that they were doing. So there are scenarios which are coming in, but I think I would still say it is early. It is not easy for organizations to just come and adopt these tools. They need to have very clear use cases or, make it very, very effective.
So, these may be the apprehensions, but, when you talk to organizations, do you also come across certain myths or, misconceptions that we may call them, which are holding them back to adopt AI?
So the first thing when Gen AI came is that the immediate was that will it replace human workers?
Yes.
That was the first thing. Everybody was very, very worried about the job, or will my job be there? The answer to it is yes, there are certain roles and jobs will not be there because automation will take care of those roles and Gen AI will have a big impact. But the bottom line is it will create a lot more jobs and it will also add or rather augment a lot of your existing. It is going to complement in your existing job. And I can talk about myself. I use, like Copilot on my PC as a partner for two conversations. Post questions. I try to get perspective, which is like a dialogue between two people. That is the way I use. So I see a lot of values. It is not that it's going to replace me, but it is helping me to do a lot of things much faster than what I could do earlier. So the first myth was, will Gen AI will replace human workers? No, I don't think they will replace human workers. They will create more jobs. They will complement the existing, roles in a much better way. But at the same time, yes, there are roles which are mundane roles where the activity is pretty much set in terms of what you want to do, how you want to reach from A to Z. Those kind of roles will have a big impact because most of them will be, completely automated by Gen AI solutions. The second thing is Gen AI cannot personalize learning. But my answer is Gen AI is probably in the best position to personalize learning because it is gathering so much of data about us in general as a consumer. Forget about the organization. When do we wake up? What do we do during the day? When do we have lunch? When do we sleep? When do you have dinner? So much of thing. It is also capturing your entire experiences during the day. When are you learning? I would say one of the big impact it will have is it will start delivering beautiful, personalized learning according to your style of, according to your lifestyle, according to your, format of learning. So that's the second myth which people should not be worried about. AI is going to add a lot of value in terms of personalization. And the third is GenAI is only for tech savvy companies. No, GenAI is there for everybody. In fact, as a consumer, most of us already have got Google Gemini or a Perplexity AI. My favorite is Perplexity AI, which is fantastic, which is a fantastic tool. And just the way I use Copilot on my PC, I use this app to ensure that it is a mode of conversation. I'm able to get a lot of insight, a lot of stuff, which really helps me. So these are the 2, 3 myths that I repeatedly see, but this is a lot to do with the mindset, which I think over a period of time will settle.
Yeah, that's a very relevant point you made about personalized learning. I'd like you to build on this. You rightly said that, it's not only the tech companies who would need the upskilling, but if you had to, uh, deep dive into the learning paths, do you think it differ basis the base skill that people will have? So, for example, if I had to ask you a person who's in tech will have a different learning path when it comes to Gen AI upskilling compared to the ones who are in different functions.
Yes, yes, yes. GenAI will impact all the functions. So, when we talk to a lot of prospects, when we work with some of our customers, we are delivering GenAI solutions for sales. There is GenAI solutions for finance. There is GenAI solutions for techies, and whether they're architect, developer, or tester, as one of the examples I gave. All of these functions will have a lot of value from GenAI, but these solutions will be very different. Interestingly, we are actually talking to somebody who said, okay, they are a hospital and they want to really see how is that they can increase the productivity of their nurses. They do a lot of documentation. They want to say, can you reduce it? Can you, give them, automate this entire process, thereby saving time, and then, throw insights of how they are performing, during the day. Now, if you look at this situation, it is extremely different from a tech situation, but it also gives you a very clear, perspective that every role, every function will have a role, GenAI will have a role to play, and GenAI is going to make them more and more efficient. So this whole myth about, it is not going to impact or it will try different learning. Yes, it will try different, but it is going to impact everybody. Yes.
So, having debunked some of the myths that you did just now, if you had to pitch in the top 2, 3 reasons why companies should invest in GenAI upskilling, what would that be? What is your pitch for companies? What ROI does it get to them?
I think one of the I'll talk from B2B perspective and I'll keep B2C aside. B2B, yes, there's a lot of opportunity. We work with a lot of tech companies. So some of the first question they said, okay, how can we leverage GenAI to make developers role very much more efficient, right? How can we complete project faster? How can they minimize the errors? How can they test the application? A lot of opportunities there purely from a text perspective. The other is on the data analytics and insight side. We have a lot of conversations with prospects and customers where they say, okay, how do we use some of the tools to improve insight, or to do automate stuff and get insights faster. So we ourselves in our own tool of Tekstac, we have a nice learning assistant where if you are a developer, you can basically have that as your learning assistant. You can keep, sharing your perspective and it gives you a perspective. The idea is not to solve the problem for you, but to give you a good perspective on how you can do things in multiple ways and then allow you to, pick the best, that we have a video assessment. I mean, you don't need any manual intervention. That's completely based on AI. Somebody can come, record the entire video, assess themselves, and the entire underlying AI engine, can completely evaluate and basically tell you, hey, Mamta, are you good to go with this candidate, or does this candidate need more learning intervention? The third is the other couple of things is that everybody will have to make AI investment. As you can see, it is becoming pervasive. Whether you are a consumer or the B2B, everybody will have to. The question is, how are you going to make investment? What areas are you going to make investment? I spoke about, sales, finance. I gave you an example of hospital. There is clearly plenty of areas on the tech side, which is already identified. So how do we really maximize investment? Where do we really put those dollars into taking your company to the next level? Because everybody is doing it. It will become a race of, I think, 2 things: time and scale. How can you do more things in lesser time, and how can you scale whatever you're doing into a much broader horizon? The third is obviously you can improve workforce capability. As I said, there are a lot of jobs where GenAI is going to complement. I give you an example of how a developer can use. Similarly, how you can, we have a CRM which we use, which has GenAI. It throws a, when I, work on this, it's already started throwing a lot of data insights into how the customer opportunity might move in terms of, those are very, very good insights as a sales leader and for my team to really, invest their time, effort, and money in areas where we can be extremely productive. And it's a good example of how it complements our sales role. So these are some of the things, but ultimately it will be about innovation leading to productivity and essentially taking businesses to another level, because everybody is going to invest, and people who do it well are the ones who would going to.
While there are companies who are already doing it, there are ones who do see certain possibilities and opportunities. But I'm sure you agree that the security is a major, major challenge that holds them back. How will organizations upskill employees and at the same time, manage risks? Does that also require a certain learning path?
I think with so much of data flowing around, the entire underlying is data. So so much of data flowing around, security will always be a big. You see everywhere. The news of hacking is like left, right, and center. Every day you will have a couple of you know incidences where people are hacking or are threatening. So security will become the topmost area as far as Gen AI concerned. Now, with respect to B2, you really need to put a good security framework when you implement this solution, which means that you need to first train your people on how to use these tools, what to do, what not to do. You need to have extremely good governance policies at the top level, where you have guidelines, you have clear audits and accesses, right? You need to have who accesses what. It is not that when you implement a solution, it is available to everybody. And I gave an example. If sales is supposed to, what is that I can limit to sales? What is that I can limit to finance? Who hold much more sensitive data, what is that I can essentially hold control in terms of other functions. The third I would say is continuous learning and awareness. I mean, there has to be a certain amount of awareness program that has to be driven, say, quarterly or half yearly for all the employees, because this is a new area. It will keep evolving, and if you see every 6 months something or the other changes, and the previous thing becomes absolutely obsolete. So that is one thing that needs to be done very, very regularly. You have to then, also collaborate with your IT and security, and basically make them aware of the incident, because not many people will know what are the possibilities of Gen AI or how Gen AI can be misused. So as an individual, you will have to, work closely with, work closely with the security and tell them these are some of the things. And it will be a combination of we working with them to ensure that the security policy is made robust over a period of time. And finally, the big question is how much of what we are doing in AI is ethical. So those are some of the ethical AI practices. How do we really use AI with ethics? That's a debatable thing, but we really need to, that's a much larger conversation. We really need to, debate about it. As you can see, a lot of countries across Europe are really thinking about how to put AI practices. There are countries who are basically banned, AI in some of their functions, some of their education, systems. So yeah, people are thinking differently, but the security will always remain at the top. But there are various aspects of security that people really need to think about it. But it surely is a very important area for all the leaders at the top to really think about when they want to use GenAI.
Very relevant insights. I hope this clears some of the misconceptions that, organizations were hesitant to even embark on that journey still. Anything else would you like to add in context of your company Tekstac? What is that USP that you get to the market with so many of these platforms in the industry?
I think we are trying to solve a very simple problem. I mean, having worked with a lot of platform companies, it gave me a very good opportunity to figure out those problems. And our focus is extremely on saying, how do we really make individuals job ready, project ready? But, uh, by providing them deep tech playground, have a robust assessment where they can go ahead, take those assignments multiple times, make mistakes, essentially, creating a place where you can confidently go, try and solve problems multiple ways with hundreds of skills and hundreds of labs and assessments created. So come subscribe, you play around as much as you want, make mistakes, get your assess. The idea is when you go to the next step, you have to be very confident. So there are reskilling projects, upskilling projects, but the core is, and if I have to say in a nutshell, it is learn, apply, succeed. So how do you learn? How do you apply? And most of our customers and prospects, if you say, they will keep saying, okay, there's a lot of content floating around, but we really need to know whether the candidates will go through an interview, whether candidates can successfully land a job or a project. So that's the piece where we are extremely focused. How do we make the application layer of your learning really, really strong and help candidates go to the next level? So that's what we solve at Tekstac. We have just started, a long way to go, but we seem to be going in the right direction. Thanks to all our customers and a lot of the prospects who are talking to us. They seem to be giving a lot of right feedback, and we are implementing those feedback one step at a time and taking it to the next level.
Thank you, Unni. That's really, really relevant. And thank you for taking your time to, talk to us. Absolute pleasure to.
Thank you, Mamta. Thanks for your time. I enjoyed this conversation, and let's talk more on a different topic sometime later.
Come the day on another discussion, and let's say that, how we can make people believe in the value of upskilling, how it can make all the difference.
Yeah, learning. Thank you. And I want to leave with one thought is that learning is going to be forever. That's the only thing that is. Learning is going to be it's part of your life. So people who are really not focusing will struggle. People who have that open mind saying that is going to be a part of my life is where are the ones who are going to be successful. Thanks for the time. Have a good day and wonderful talk to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Unni.